Do you have a fatty liver? If you live in the US, the American Liver Foundation says that there's a 30 to 40% chance that you have fatty liver disease. And when it becomes severe, it turns into non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, which pretty soon may be the biggest reason why you might need a liver transplant. And there's a boatload of conflicting information on social media. Many experts make claims that just don't square with science. Some folks sell liver cleanse products that are largely unsupported by research. In this video, I'm going to share what some of these possible false claims are. And for 30 days, I'm going to test a leading liver detox product, Dr. Berg's Liver Detox, and see what impact it has on my liver test results. Our livers are essential to our life. It's the largest solid internal organ in the body. It's about the size of a football and weighs about 3 pounds. It's located on our right side, just under our rib cage. Our liver performs many vital functions, including cleaning toxins from our blood, making bile to digest fat, storing sugar for energy, and helping with all sorts of digestive processes. There are many kinds of liver diseases and conditions, and they include things like hepatitis, autoimmune diseases, and various genetic conditions. Some of these are due to infections and genetics and things you cannot easily control. But the disease I will focus on in this video is for many people in your control. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's a serious medical condition, but we can make it much better with the right foods and possibly some supplements. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease happens when excess fat builds up in the liver. It's a silent disease with few or no symptoms. It's not caused by heavy alcohol use, which also affects liver health. Rather, for many people, the predominant cause is diet. According to the American Liver Foundation, it affects about 100 million people in the US and as many as 1 billion people worldwide. Many folks simply don't know they have the disease. When untreated, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease advances to a much more dangerous disease called non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH. This is a dangerous, much more aggravated form of NAFLD in which you have inflammation and serious liver damage, in addition to that excess fat. The prevalence of NASH is expected to grow so much that it will soon be the leading cause for liver transplants. Perhaps the most troubling aspect of fatty liver disease is that it's becoming a health crisis among kids. It's now the most common form of childhood liver disease in the US, more than doubling over the past 20 years, due in part to the increase in childhood obesity. Studies say that as many as 1 out of 10 kids have non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So what are the causes and what can you do to correct it? This is where social media has gotten out of control, offering guidance that does not always stack up with the research. As with all things I discuss on my channel, your first course of action should be to discuss this with your doctor, because only she or he knows your unique situation. And liver disease is no joking matter. If you let it progress, you can lose your liver. There are many experts on social media that say that the cause for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is diet. And while this is accurate in great part, it's also important to be aware that genetics play a role, because our genetics influence how our bodies process fats and sugars. And if we are unable to process them well, you can have excess buildup of fat in the liver. This study took a look at the causes of fatty liver disease. As this image shows, the causes are threefold: genetics, diet, and sedentary lifestyle. And while the explosion of liver disease in recent years is probably due to our modern, highly processed Western diet and lack of physical activity, genetics is one of the causes. While we tend to think of this as a modern disease, as this report suggests, it has been around for hundreds of years. My point is, adjust your diet, become more active, but don't neglect speaking with your doctor to understand what role your genetics might play. When we try to fix our diets, the first things we are told to do is cut out alcohol, added sugars, fast foods, and highly processed carbohydrates. You've heard this before, and it is backed by tons of research. Alcohol is bad for our livers. Nearly all fried foods are also bad because the intense heating and reheating damages the oils so that they lead to oxidative stress. Sugars create a spike in insulin, which leads to inflammation and more oxidative stress. So once you've eliminated these major culprits, the next step they advise is to go one step more, to cut out fruits, grains, even whole grains, and all breadstuffs, because they say they are all carbohydrates. A popular commentator on social media, Dr. Ken Berry, says this:
you have to avoid grains. This includes wheat, corn, oats, rice, amaranth, millet, quinoa, all of them. You got to avoid all these because they are full of carbohydrates. And you can do a quick search on the internet and say, what are carbohydrates made of? Carbohydrates are long chains of sugar. That's what they are. There's no argument about that. Grains do not have anything in them that will help your liver at all.
And then he goes on to say,
from the cheapest white bread that you can buy at the discount store to the most expensive stone ground, non-GMO, ancient wheat bread that costs $42 a loaf, they're equally as bad for your fatty liver.
But this is where I disagree. Now, Ken Berry is a medical doctor, and I only have a master's in food research. But I think he's wrong, because what he doesn't take account of is the role of fiber. He's correct that carbohydrates are just sugars, but fiber is a carbohydrate that the human body cannot digest. It passes through our digestive systems largely intact, and along the way it provides various health benefits as well, like promoting gut health and regulating blood sugar. Fiber does indeed consist of long chains of sugar molecules. However, the bonds in those molecules are such that our digestion does not break them down. And this means two things. Number one, there are breads on the market that are fiber-rich, which give you the opportunity to enjoy bread without the consequences that Dr. Berry is talking about. One example is the whole wheat wraps that my wife buys. I have no stake in this company. I get no remuneration from them. We had them in the pantry, and I was pleasantly surprised to see their nutrition profile. These wraps have 20 grams of carbohydrates, but 18 grams of that is fiber, which is not digested, so the net carbs are just 2 grams. Compare this to a cup of broccoli, which has about the same calories, less protein, and 6 grams of net carbs. I'm not saying at all that these wraps are better than broccoli. What I am saying is that contrary to Dr. Berry's guidance, there are indeed bread and grain options on the market that can be liver friendly. I guess it depends how severe your fatty liver disease is. And in extreme cases, sure, eliminating all carbs could be the best route, but that would put you on a keto diet, and a lot of people have a hard time staying on keto. And here's one more data point. This study showed that eating whole grains was actually beneficial for your liver health. The study looked at people who had been diagnosed with fatty liver disease. As context, doctors grade liver health on a scale of 0 to 3. 0 is no fat, and 3 is the most severe, a lot of fat. No one in the study group was grade 0. A little more than half were at grade 1, 43% were grade 2, and 6% were at the serious level, grade 3. For 12 weeks, these people put on a diet that included whole grains, things like rice, pasta, and bread. And here are the results. The percent of people at grade 3 dropped to 0. The percent with moderate liver disease dropped significantly from 42% to 15%. The folks graded as mild dropped slightly, and 36%, over 1/3 of the patient group, finished the 12-week period with no liver disease. The researchers concluded that the consumption of whole grains for 12 weeks led to statistically and clinically significant improvements in the patient's liver health. Now, directionally, I agree 100% with Dr. Berry that the more carbs you eliminate, the better it's going to be for your liver, and that it's a good idea to cut out as much bread as possible. But if you have a fatty liver, the chances are you got there because your diet was already poor. And these data suggest that you can enjoy whole grains and even some bread and still improve your liver health. Now, one area where I agree with Dr. Berry is the following statement.
You need to understand there's no research that shows that any kind of liver cleanse that you buy on the internet is going to help your liver at all.
I guess we all look for the magic bullet, and many times it's easier to take something to fix a problem than give up the things we like that are causing the problem. So I looked at a top-selling liver cleanse product sold by Dr. Berg, another popular figure in social media. For 30 days, I took Dr. Berg's Liver Detox, and I share my test results at the end of the video. So what is in his detox product? It includes a bunch of things that probably support liver health. Things like milk thistle extract, ox bile extract, turmeric root, and the other items shown in this ingredient list. Based on the research, none of these are likely bad for you, and they are all broadly helpful in terms of their ability to support fat digestion, reduce inflammation, and provide antioxidant effects in our bodies. And probably due to the massive public health disaster that fatty liver disease is becoming, there's a lot of research that's been done on these components. The active compound in milk thistle, for example, silymarin, is a potent antioxidant and anti-inflammatory agent. It helps protect cells from damage caused by toxins, and it can promote liver cell regeneration. This meta-study observed that milk thistle is safe and well tolerated, but researchers found that there were no improvements among patients with chronic liver disease. They said that data are just too limited to support recommending it for the treatment of liver disease. Ox bile extract. Virtually no research exists on the topic of ox bile on human liver health. If you go to Google Scholar or PubMed, nothing pops up. That doesn't mean it's bad and it's not effective. Our livers produce bile, and it plays an important role in emulsifying fats, which means it breaks them down into small droplets so they can be more readily digested. If our livers are not doing everything we need them to, it makes sense that extra bile could help. There is a lot of evidence that ox bile, when given as a supplement to broiler chickens, helps them digest fat better. So it's reasonable to assume that it would help human beings as well. Turmeric root. A lot of research has been done on the health benefits of turmeric. Turmeric is a vibrant colored yellow spice that's been used for centuries in traditional medicine and cooking in Indian and Southeast Asia cuisines. In case you don't know, the real benefit of turmeric comes from curcumin, which is the primary active compound found in the spice. So turmeric is the whole spice, while curcumin is one of the key components. Curcumin has potent anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties, but it's poorly absorbed by the body, and consuming turmeric with black pepper may enhance its absorption, which is one reason that Dr. Berg would include black pepper in his supplement. A huge analysis of these compounds concluded that curcumin extract is a promising but not proven treatment for non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, while the role for turmeric is less clear. So in summary, none of this stuff is bad for you, and much of it probably can help both liver and overall health. But the most important thing you must do is start with eliminating alcohol, sugars, refined carbohydrates, and highly processed foods. So what were my personal results? For 30 days, I took Dr. Berg's Liver Detox. These are capsules that I took twice a day with food. As a starting point, my liver was already healthy. I eat what most people would say is a clean diet. I only have modest alcohol consumption. I rarely eat sugars and never eat fast food. I eat a lot of good protein, like chicken, eggs, and fish. And I eat a ton of vegetables. So my starting point was pretty good. Liver health is often measured by looking at the levels of a variety of factors, including things like protein, albumin, globulin, bilirubin, alkaline phosphate, and enzymes known as LDH, AST, and ALT. I won't get into the technical terms, but the logic behind testing for these enzymes is that they are present in the liver, and when the liver is damaged or when the bile ducts are blocked, they can leak into the blood and create higher levels than normal. To begin with, all my liver results are within range, indicating that I don't have any liver health issues. You can see that of the 8 enzymes tested, 4 were exactly the same following 30 days on Dr. Berg's product. Of the remaining 4, 2 increased slightly and 2 decreased slightly. Everything remains well in range. I don't think you can conclude anything based on this experience. It is consistent, however, with the general research that no supplement has a meaningful impact on liver health. But we have to observe that I am in good health, and I am not the type of person for which this product is designed. So to wrap this up, our liver is essential to our life and is responsible for many vital functions in our body. When too much fat builds up in the liver, it can become a condition called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is becoming a major health crisis internationally, and it affects as many as 40% of people in the United States. If untreated, it can advance to a much more dangerous disease called non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. If it advances to that level, you are at risk for losing your liver and needing a transplant. The three main causes of fatty liver disease are genetics, diet, and sedentary lifestyle. There are no supplements proven to reverse fatty liver disease. There are many products on the market that probably are helpful in general terms because they reduce oxidation and inflammation, but they probably have little impact compared to focusing on diet and exercise. Liver health is a very serious matter. Always check with your doctor before making any changes or taking any supplements. Thank you for watching, and please see my other videos here, all devoted to how you can take the best care of yourself and your loved one.